What's up everyone and welcome to Art and Design. My name is Thorgeir and today we're going to be making a Christmas card in Procreate. Let's check it out. And there we go, we got a picture for the Christmas card. That's great. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Procreate and create a new canvas. And we do that by clicking on the plus icon over here. And then we're going to select the Christmas card canvas. And that is essentially 176 millimeters by 127 millimeters. And on the screen right now, you can see the Christmas card size for the American viewers out there. Now, we have a blank canvas, and what I was thinking about doing is flipping it on the side and having the Christmas card orientated like this. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start by importing the image that we took, which is this one over here. And there we go. And so now we have the image in Procreate, and I'm just gonna place it so it's at the upper half of the canvas, just about there. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place this image inside of a circle. Now I could erase it just like that, but what I want to do is I want this circle to be very precise. So what I did is I created a new brush, which is essentially just a circle. So here you can see the shape source, and if we click on the Pro library, we can see I used this one over here. So we have a circle and we have a white square essentially. And what we can do with that, if we create a new layer, is if we tap on the canvas like so, we get a perfect circle, which is awesome because now we can place the image inside the circle. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to figure out how the underlying image is supposed to be. We're just gonna reduce the opacity so we see through it, and I want the image in a bit different place, so I'm gonna position it a little bit like so that her face is more in the center of the circle. Okay, I'm happy with that. And now we're gonna select the content of the black circle by clicking select. And now we've selected the black circle, and we're going to inverse this selection so that we're selecting everything that is not the black circle essentially. And that's this icon over here. So after we've inverted the selection, we can tap on the image itself and tap on clear. And there we go, we've cleared out everything that is not inside of the circle. It's pretty awesome. So I want to keep this black layer because I want to use that as a shadow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it just to have a copy of it. And then I'm going to select the top one and I'm going to press on Gaussian blur and then bring it up just a tad. And there we go. We have a shadow underneath the image, and that's the Gaussian blur. Pretty handy tool. So now we can start working on the background. So what I was thinking about doing is having a blue background behind this image, and then a kind of a white bottom section of the image where I can write some text like Merry Christmas or something like that. So now we're just going to select a brush to paint the background, and I'm thinking about using the medium brush, this one over here. And I'm just going to start by laying down some blue. Like so. There we go. And now I'm going to work on the bottom section of the image. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to select this white over here and just lay that down about there. All Alright, so now I'm using the golden ratio calipers, and what I'm doing is essentially I'm trying to figure out where the blue should end and the white begin. And the way I'm doing that is I place each side of the golden ratio calipers on either end of the canvas. And there we can see the intersecting point where the blue should end and the white should begin. So I'm just going to fill that in. So it should be about there. And we're going to use that as the baseline composition. And we just need to rearrange things a bit, make this image a bit smaller. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that right there. Now we need to figure out what we're going to do with the rest of the image. And what I was thinking was maybe have like a bow tie or something in the middle. So let me just show you what I'm thinking. So basically what I was thinking was having like a bow tie over here and then maybe have some ribbons extending from it. Instead of drawing it myself though, I'm going to use an image from the web. And so I'm going to drag in the Chrome window and pop it over here. And let's see, I had the image earlier. There we go, there it is. So I tap on the image, drag it onto the canvas and just drop it. It's as simple as that. It's pretty freaking fantastic. So now we have the bow tie in the image. Just gonna resize it and frame it so it's about there-ish. Maybe a little bit smaller. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now I need to create the ribbons that extend from the bow tie. I'm just going to select a medium airbrush and then we're just going to paint in the ribbon. Just going to make it a bit bigger and let's see if I can get this correctly. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that, I think. So I see that the white is sticking out a bit, so I'm just gonna erase that. So select the white layer and eraser tool, make it a bit smaller, and just gonna erase it away. Now I'm gonna pick up this color because we see that the white isn't extending all the way to the edges there. Just gonna paint that in as well. So there we go. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so I think this image needs a little bit more fill. It's not quite done. Maybe like some snowflakes or a ring around the circle over here to make it pop out just a little bit more. Maybe we can use the circle that we used earlier, the black one. It's not in the correct position, so let's move it. Tap on freeform so I can move it freely. Just a little more fine tuning. Okay, I'm pretty happy with it like this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the color of the black circle. Tap on the color and drag it and drop it. If you want to change the color of the background, drag and drop. It's pretty simple and pretty handy trick. Just drag the color on top of the thing that you want to color and it just colors that in. Now bear in mind it only colors in the active layer itself. So if you want to color in the background layer, it will only do that if you select the background layer. So now I'm just making the shadow go underneath the white circle. And the next thing that I'm thinking about doing is make this image right here look a little bit more 3D. So I'm just going to select the contents of that image, create a new layer, and then I'm going to overlay some highlights on top of the image. And let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm just going to select a white color and then we're going to overlay just a bit of a glare on top of the image, on the edges of the circle essentially. I'm going to change that to add and drop down the opacity just a bit in the effects controls. And now you don't want to go completely overboard because you'll just ruin the image essentially. But just light taps on the edges of it and it'll make it stand out just a bit more. So I'm pretty happy with that. So now we can start working on the rest of the image. And the thing that I'm thinking about doing next is to create maybe like snowflakes in the background over here. Like so, just these tiny little snowflakes. And the way that I'm going to achieve that effect is by editing an existing brush called Flower Power. And the way that I do that is I drag it to the left and press duplicate. Then I'm going to tap into it and then I'm going to change the shape source from being this flower to a snowflake. Now I have made a snowflake brush before, and that is essentially this one over here. It's just a snowflake on a white background. And I'm just going to select copy on this image. And if you want to learn more about creating custom brushes, I have a video on my channel that I go in depth about that specific subject. So I'll leave a link to that right here. So what I do is essentially I tap on the shape source and press paste. And then we need to invert the shape so we get it right. There we go. We have a snowflake brush inside Procreate. Pretty awesome. So now we can just start laying down some snowflakes on the background. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward through the rest of the image. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm making use of brushes, making use of color, and essentially trying to make the image pop out just a little bit more so that we have something good to send to our family and friends. So there we go, the image is ready. Now I want to thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Happy holidays and thank you all so much for the support on this channel. It's been amazing. Thank you and I'll see you in the next one.